Shemai friendy, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Anwyn for anyone who's new here, and let's get back into building in Planet Zoo. And we have got a new DLC, and I was definitely not ready for it this time. So as you can tell, I'm staying in this North American zoo for the new European pack. Or Europe pack. This zoo just didn't feel finished, and because a lot of the animals from the Europe pack felt like they could live in this snowy part of this map anyway, I thought, let's just combine them both. It'll help me fill out this half-empty zoo and it'll also help me save a bit of time setting up a brand new zoo. And I'm actually building this before the Europe pack comes out. I'm even recording this video before the pack comes out. Because it's Christmas, I've had to rejig my recording schedule around so I can have a few days pretty much off. It is my birthday, Christmas Day as well, so I feel like I deserve to have a couple of days off for my birthday and for Christmas. Why not? The start of this video anyway will just be Arctic pack and base game. Then at the end I'm gonna go in and add some of the new Europe pack items. If you do want to see any of the new items from the Europe pack, I do put chapters in my videos now, so if you go into the description you will have timestamps, so you can click whenever I put a timestamp for Europe new shit. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I just realised I haven't actually said what this Fallow Deer Habitat's going to be. It's going to be a gingerbread house, and I thought making a gingerbread house would just be perfect. I was like looking through things, trying to figure out some kind of European tie-in to do for the fallow deer. Gingerbread houses actually originated in Germany, which is just great really, because I was already planning on building a gingerbread house. The fallow deer just looked really cute. In the sneak peeks of the Planet Zoo post on their socials, I googled a real fallow deer as well. I instantly thought of Bambi, but Bambi isn't actually a fallow deer. I can't remember which deer it was, I'll put it on the screen. But I googled it first because I was like, wait, are we going to have a Disney themed habitat? Hell yeah. But no. But I do know that they live in forested areas, so I've grabbed some of the evergreen trees for the surroundings of this gingerbread house. And gingerbread houses also come from the Grimm tales, or like Hansel and Gretel, and Hansel and Gretel walk through a forest to get to that house made of sweets where the witch lives. I can't really remember that one, but it all really ties in nicely together. So I thought, oh, the Evergreen Forest, Christmassy, festive, with a gingerbread house would be perfect. And I actually googled a colour number for gingerbread, and that's what I've recolored these mud walls. And I decided on using the mud walls because they had a really nice like texture to them, because no matter how much you roll out gingerbread nice and smooth with the baking process and everything, it's never completely flat. And I thought these mud walls worked really well with that because they're not smooth, they're like kind of bumpy and kind of biscuity. It made me want to bake so much. I love baking, and that is pretty much one of the only festive traditions I like doing is baking. I love making short crust pastry for mince pies, and mince pies are not made out of like beef. They are little tarts that have raisins and other mixed fruit peels, and it's spiced like Christmassy, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg. It's spiced and it comes out like a jam or a chutney. It kind of looks like that, and I love making those every year. Even though I don't really eat the mince pies, I tend to make jam tarts for myself. But I love baking, and I can't wait to get into all of that. That is going to be one of my things I'm going to be doing on my little holiday that I've created for myself pre-recording. I actually did the roof out of the mud panels as well, because gingerbread houses don't have different biscuits for the roof part of the gingerbread house. It's all gingerbread. So everything is made out of the mud panels, all the same colour. But I don't really do gingerbread houses. Is that like a tradition that you have if you celebrate Christmas? Or do you do gingerbread houses around winter time? The gingerbread houses never taste as good as they look, do they? They're so fun to do and so fun to decorate, but then they're always kind of stale or like soft or too hard. It's always something iffy with them, and maybe it's because I've always, like, whenever I have done a gingerbread house, I've just bought the kits for a gingerbread house. I've never really made my own biscuits. I'm saying I'm a baker and I'm like, nah, not doing my own biscuits. I don't like biscuits much. Usually with gingerbread houses, to stick it all together, you'll have this ridiculously stiff royal icing. I thought to save a little bit of time and to reduce the amount of objects I was using, I'd use these thin cylinder shapes as the royal icing piping, and it kind of looks a little bit like snow as well. I didn't make it exactly the lighter shade of white that we can have in the game. I wanted it slightly off-white, yellowy colour, just because icing like that is never like fully white, especially if it's got like a little bit of vanilla in it or something. It'll always be like a slightly off-white colour. What sorts of things do you like baking around this like holiday season? Do you make a Christmas cake? When I was younger, my nan would make a Christmas cake every year, and at the end, once everything was put in together, everyone would give the Christmas cake a stir and make a wish. That was like a tradition. But I think my nan stopped making Christmas cakes because not a lot of us really liked eating them. No one's really going to eat a lot of Christmas cake, especially because every year there's been a birthday cake as well. And I've made the windows, and I will be making the door as well 3D. So what I imagine the squares of the mud panels, they would be separate biscuits, and those little squares would then be glued on top of the main wall of biscuit. And I know my colour scheme throughout this has been blue, but I wanted to treat myself and do something with purple. It's been too long since I've used purple or pink in any of my builds. So this is going to have a purple colour scheme. And now onto the roof detailing. This is a bracket. Maybe it's called parentheses? Is that what it's called? Like a rounded bracket anyway. This is usually what you would see on a gingerbread house, is this sort of pattern to kind of make it look like roof tiles. I couldn't fully cover it because some of it was like sticking out, but I didn't mind that. I didn't want it to be absolutely perfect. And I'm using the tops of the cupcakes as like extra decorations for the roof. Usually you'd put like sweets and things on top of the roof and like as extra decorations. So I thought the top of the cupcake looked like ice gems, kind of like how if you had a star-tipped nozzle and you just splodged some extra coloured royal icing on the top. I don't remember what this object is called, but they look like Smarties, and Smarties are not chalky in the UK. Our Smarties are kind of like M&Ms. They are like chocolate with a hard candy shell. And then usually on a gingerbread house, like an edible one, you would add some extra royal icing drips off the edge of the roof to act like icicles. But we do have some base game icicles in Planet Zoo. They're not quite the same colour as the fake royal icing I've put on. I guess because this is like the icy blue colour, it does tie it in with the rest of the winter side of this zoo. But I don't really mind not sticking with the colour scheme for the new animals. Maybe we will keep the new animals with this purple colour, or we'll play around with it a little bit more, and just the North American animals will have the blue. And to go with the Hansel and Gretel theme to keep it tied in with the German European theme. I made like a little pathway going through the forest. I used a queue because the queues are thinner than regular paths to just mark out a little path, and I painted the snow over the path as you went deeper into the forest, because Hansel and Gretel lost their breadcrumbs as they went deeper into the forest. So as you go deeper into the forest of the habitat, there's less and less pathway markings, like losing the breadcrumbs, losing like the trackings of the snow, like the snow's covering the path and covering your tracks. Yeah, that makes sense, right? But that is actually pretty much it for me. Now I'm just gonna have to figure out something else to talk about. I know for definite there are a couple of objects that I definitely want to add in that I've seen from the teasers for the Europe pack, and that is the swirly columns, sticks that look like candy canes. I think they are going to be perfect to go with the gingerbread theme, and some of the lights as well. Some of the festive lights that I've seen on the trailer were just so pretty. I can't wait to play around with them a little bit. It's like the lynx looks gorgeous. I never start with the big cats though, because big cats are always my favourite, so I tend to leave those and not build a habitat for them straight away. It's like when I have celebrations or roses. Ooh, that's a big debate at Christmas in the UK. I don't know whether it would be the same in other countries, but that's a big debate. Are you a celebrations, a quality street, or a roses person? I love quality street, and my favourite quality street are the fruit ones. Wow, this video's been very food centred. What else do you do around the festive season other than eat? You can tell what my favourite thing is about Christmas. Food. What else do you do at Christmas other than eat though? Play games. Oh my goodness. Games, board games with the family. Yes, Monopoly. Monopoly's one that I would definitely play every year, even if it's just me and my mum for Christmas, like it was last year. We have lots of different variations of Monopoly as well. My mum's a collector, so I have a Nightmare Before Christmas one, which is perfect to play at Christmas. But yeah, games are like a fun thing to do around Christmas for like family. Although like I guess it does cause arguments at the same time. You can get a little dramatic. If you have like a really competitive family, I can't imagine Monopoly being that fun. But I'm not really that competitive like that. Like I don't mind losing Monopoly. It's more fun losing money than having money in that game. For me anyway, it's hilarious. It's always fun like trying to get certain places on the board before another family member as well. My mom really likes getting the stations. That's like her favorite thing to get on the board, and I really like getting the dark blues at the end. So it's always funny landing on a station before and buying that just to be able to wind her up a bit for getting it first. But then my mum usually then ends up getting Mayfair, so we end up swapping that way. But that's like the fun of a game as well, isn't it? But yeah, I know I haven't mentioned anything on the screen, but that's because as I'm recording this, I don't have any more footage behind the scenes. Ooh, magic. You're seeing so many new things. Like, oh wow, isn't that good? I have no clue what it is, but it's so good. And it's good because I've used it and I've looked at it and I've been like, fuck yes, that is going on my gingerbread house. I can't wait. I can't wait for the new pack. It was a big surprise, and I think it was more of a surprise because I was only doing one build a week for a couple of months because I was playing Life is Strange, True Colours, so I hadn't quite done as many builds as I usually would with the new pack, and I think that's why I've kind of decided to join the two packs together as well, because this zoo is empty. And I haven't actually done all of the North American animals yet. I haven't done the California sea lion. So it'll probably be good to tie the 2 packs together now, and once we run out of more Arctic animals to do up this winter side, I'll probably end up doing a spring area as well, where some of the other European animals like the badger would probably be a really good one for spring, but like the alpine ibex will work really nicely with winter, because obviously alpine. I am really interested to see how the ibex will interact with terrain and will walk around in this game, because in the wild ibexes live on cliff sides and they can walk on things that you really wouldn't expect them to be able to walk on. Like, it does not look like there's any footholds there. They look like they're stood on a vertical surface. So I am looking forward to seeing how they actually do that, which is hilarious because you would have seen me see that already, because I always do a reaction showcase of the new pack animals. I've already reacted to that. For you anyway. For me, that's in a couple of days. Don't forget to let me know what your favourite festive treats are and what you like to do around the festive period. What are your like Christmas traditions if you celebrate? And if you don't, I hope you just enjoy winter and enjoy the cute habitats that I've been building. But yeah, if you enjoyed this gingerbread house habitat build for the fallow deer, smash that like button, and if you haven't already and you would like to, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I upload on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but for Christmas and New Year we will only be doing Wednesdays because I want that little bit of time off. So no Saturday videos for the next 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you next time. Goodbye.